Today, I wanted to go over some of the new things that I've added in the last month to make it a little more obvious how to get started. So we have two different options here. Narrative agents on the left, Subtxt Muse on the right. The one on the right is if you have a pretty good idea of your story, maybe you've written a lot about it already, maybe you're halfway through the draft and you just want to go to an intelligent artificial intelligence chatbot who has tons and tons of information about story structure, then go here. But if you're just getting started and you just want to see what this is all about, narrative agents are a great way to get started. So you just click into that. And then when it comes up, you can see there's a place just to type in your story idea. Or if you have no idea whatsoever, you can just generate a random story idea. So I'm just going to do that because I don't really have anything prepared right now. And it will come up with something relatively random. All right. In the neon glittered future of cyber city, the year 2150, seen through a kaleidoscope of progress and digital dreams, four childhood companions, once inseparable but now distant echoes, converge once more. Kazumi, a cybernetic engineer with a penchant for creating lifelike androids. Aito, a reclusive codebreaker whose algorithms speak the language of hidden truths. Hannah, a biotech savant, crafting synthetic realities from the fabric of DNA. And Rio, an architect of virtual worlds where the boundaries of imagination are but wisps of code. Together they embark on a digital odyssey to unravel a cryptic conundrum left in the wake of Tomo, a visionary in the realm of quantum computing who faded into the code-saturated shadows of their digitally woven universe. This is awesome. Their journey thrusts them into surreal realms that exist in the fractal fingerprints of their collective memory, where they must confront the sentient quandaries of artificial existence and the sepia tone echoes of their shared history. Amidst pixelated landscapes and within the heartbeats of avatars, they strain both their intellectual prowess and their fractured camaraderie. They explore realms where the whispers of their juvenile mischief now reverberate alongside the ghostly presence of Tomo's enigma. Holy mackerel. As their talents intertwine to decode the intertwined reality and virtuality of Tomo's legacy, they not only renew their fierce loyalty and affection of the youth, but also stitch the seams of a bond that technological wonders and personal aspirations had once unraveled. Okay, that is amazing. I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the story idea here. And now that we have just the basic idea, the first step when you go towards bringing a little bit more meaning, a little bit more structure to what it is that you're writing, is to generate what is known as a complete story. This right here is just a basic story idea. It's very detailed and very wordy. I'll see if I can work on making that less wordy, but it doesn't quite have all the aspects to make it a complete story. So what I'll do is I'll just reach out to the narrative agent and ask it to generate that complete story. So off it goes. It'll start to warm up the servers. Takes a second to do this. And then here you go. These are all the different steps they're going to walk through in order to build that basic story idea into a complete narrative. It starts out pretty basic, originally just brainstorming a title. It also has a story form that is already crafted based on that story idea. So as opposed to if you had started with Subtxt Muse and it was a story that you'd already written and you'd want to discover what that story form is, what the narrative agents are doing now is just picking a story form that matched that story idea and then going through and using that to keep all the integrity of the theme intact. So it generated the pivotal players of the story, which would be the main character and the obstacle character. The main character is the person through whom eyes we experience the story. And then the obstacle character is the alternative perspective that challenges the main character to grow into or out of their own personal justifications. So it's already extracted those 4 through lines. And now what it's doing is making sure that the source of conflict in the plot and in the main character and the obstacle character in all these 4 through lines matches what it was that we were working on before. So you can see this can take a little bit of time. And for the sake of time, I might go ahead and just zip to once it's all finished. All right, now it's just finishing up, blending all the 4 through lines back together. So what it did is it went through the 4 to make them more detailed and then went ahead and blended them all back together, which is what you would do beforehand. All right, so now it's complete. And we just tap on that to open it up. And you'll see here on the left, these are the first 4 major steps that you would take in starting to craft your story. The story idea is always up here at the top. So this is that story idea that was there, that was auto-generated. And you'll see it already has this genre of a coming-of-age adventure, which is interesting given the sci-fi-ness of this. So if I go back to the complete story, you can see up here, this is the blend of these 4 through lines. So what it did is it went into this story idea and then extracted out these 4 through lines such that the plot now is just this. In the sprawling digital expanse of Hyper Cyber City, 4 childhood friends, now experts in their respective technological fields, are drawn together to solve a mysterious puzzle left behind by the enigmatic Tomo. Their quest takes them through a labyrinth of virtual worlds, each more surreal and challenging than the last, as they use their combined skills to decipher Tomo's cryptic legacy. Excellent. That's pretty much a lot what the main story idea is. And then it identified who is the main character and what their personal baggage is. Ryoji Hayashi, known as Ryo, is haunted by memories of his childhood and the paths that he and his friends have taken. As an architect of virtual worlds, he grapples with the ephemeral nature of his creations and the tangible distance that has grown between him and his companions. Ryo's personal conflict lies in reconciling the limitless potential of his digital maze with a very sense of loss and disconnection. That's amazing. And then who is going to challenge Ryoji is Tomo. Kuriyama, though absent, serves as the catalyst for Ryo's introspection and the group's reconnection. As a pioneer in quantum computing, Tomo's disappearance into the digital shadows casts a long shadow over the group, challenging their perceptions of reality and their impact of their work. Tomo's enigmatic presence forces Ryo to confront the consequences of a life lived in the binary and to question the authenticity of connections formed in a world where the lines between human and artificial blur. That's amazing. And then the key relationship is between Ryo and Tomo. Though strained by time and Tomo's mysterious departure is the emotional core of the story. Their shared history and the ghostly echoes of their past adventures serve as a backdrop to the unfolding narrative. So then what it does is it's got the heart. So that's the heart, is their friendship. And then it took all 4 of those and then put it back together into this complete story, which would be the understanding of the narrative with all 4 through lines. So in the neon-drenched corridors of Hyper Cyber City, a quartet of childhood friends, now virtuosos in their tech-centric careers, are thrust into an enigmatic odyssey by the disappearance of Tomo Kuriyama, quantum computing maestro whose puzzling legacy beckons them into a phantasmagoria of virtual realms. This is a really cool story. So you can freeze frame it and read this if you like. And then the next step would be to generate a detailed plot structure and the players and the character arcs and then go into the story form. And I'll do that in future videos. But I just wanted to show you, and maybe you picked up on this, but it's a random story idea. And then the story idea that it picked up on was Stand By Me, which are the 4 kids. So you can see it's kind of like 4 friends. So it has a similar idea, but again, the storytelling is completely different. And this one's different in that it made Tomo the obstacle character, whereas in Stand By Me, Chris is one of these 4 is the obstacle character. Phoenix, right? In the movie. If I wanted to make sure I got away from that totally, I might leave it just to be Tomo like this. That's not bad. And that maybe the relationship is something just between the 4 of them. You know, maybe the obstacle is this, but then the friendship between all 4 of them. Let me just show you what that's like real quick. I would just go ahead and develop this and say, I'd rather the relationship be all 4 friend, not involve Mo, right? Illustration that for me. And so what this is doing, this is just asking Muse to go through and maybe just adjust what was random here. Let me just see what that looks like. Comes back. There it goes. So now what it's doing is it's repositioning the relationship story through line, not to be just between the main character and the obstacle character, which is the traditional generic way to do it. Instead, focusing the heart of the story on the friendship, which is more aligned with Stand By Me, but even more so. The relationship among the 4 friends is a tapestry woven from years of shared experiences, both joyous and challenging. As they come together to unravel the digital mystery, their dynamic is tested and transformed. Yeah, this is much, much, much better. So what I would do is I would go ahead and just copy that. Get out of this. I would replace it get rid of some of the aspects of it here, and then just go ahead and blend it. With subtext, everything underneath is the important thematic material, and then everything on top, the surface areas where you surface the storytelling that ends up in your story. So I'll just ask subtext to reblend those four together, and then we'll be done for this brief introduction to narrative agents. Let's see what it comes up with here. There we go. You can see it's a little bit longer. So this one is pretty much the same. And then as the fringe converge in Rio's living room, a sanctuary cluttered with relics of the church, they find themselves enveloped in a cocoon of nostalgia. Oh, interesting. I don't know if this just takes place in his room. This is a little more detailed because the relationship story is so detailed here. Through laughter and heated debates, they begin to piece together the puzzle. But the important part for the relationship story Throughline is that it ultimately leads to a deeper understanding and appreciation of their bond. And it's funny because in Stand By Me, they all split up at the end. And in this one, they're coming closer together. So assuming I liked this, I would just go ahead and replace this up here with that new understanding. And then that is my complete story, which broke out this basic story idea where the four friends are coming together and then going into this realm that Tomo had created for them. And also now adding in the idea that the main character, Rio, is haunted by the memories of his childhood. Tomo is going to be the obstacle character to challenge all that. And then the relationship will be their friendship and how that grows to the end. So that's a brief little introduction. There's a ton more that goes into Subtxt. But if you just want to get started and just get your feet wet and get a brief introduction to it, narrative agents are the way to go. Talk to you next time.